All right, so I definitely think by now we probably all saw the video of what happened in Manhattan, where there is a woman chasing after a guy. He was wearing like a Trump hat, basically, and she just basically couldn't keep her hands off of him in terms of trying to snatch the hat off of his head. Now, here's the thing. I definitely think that the issue is most likely multifaceted here in this context. I do think that it could be that there's a group of people that walk around the United States of America and they basically have no issue putting their hands on another group, exclusively because the other group is told never to reciprocate anything towards them. So they feel as if it's okay to do so. That could be one, or we can add that then with the other mix of just outright emotional craziness, like derangement syndrome. So mix those together, and I think we have that video of the woman trying to snatch the hat off the guy's head, guys. I think that's where we're at here, personally. But let's jump to the video immediately. MAGA hat snatcher exposed as a creative director of luxury brands. All right, let's jump into it. This is a suggestion via Discord, guys.
We've got an update on James's story from last week with the instant karma lady who went flying through, tried to grab a MAGA hat and tripped over.
Let's have a look.
A liberal
here for
elitist?
those who didn't see it here. Here's what happened on a New York City subway about a week or so ago. Have a watch this.
That's why he won. That is why he won, because the people like you need to stop it. Let him live.
Bro, just like, girl, chill, bro.
You're okay with that? He's a racist.
How can I be racist?
He's a racist. If you voted for Trump, you're a racist.
Alright, well, this is my stuff. I hope you enjoy the hat.
And down she goes. Look,
Right.
we got an update on this story here because that woman has been identified, and you're not going to believe this here, as a creative director.
And awful.
Right? A creative director
And awful.
for a number of big luxury brands that you would have heard of. So,
Okay.
you know, very nice for her to deign to take the subway and then try.
Well,
But
I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. I mean, like a lot of these issues happening, at least today, are starting to be split down the gender line. I don't want to continue to kind of harp on that specific topic here, but it's starting to look like Gen Z is also, in fact, starting to move a little bit right, and a lot of it is due to the fact that the left is almost exclusively promoting one specific gender, let's say, more so than the others. It's not really for the people like that. It's for a certain type of people. I think this kind of how it's moving, at least. Or how about this? This is what it looks like on the outside. I'm looking at it and I'm just like, you guys really don't like men. Like the audacity of her thinking that it's okay to basically put her hands on someone who is literally bigger and stronger than she is wild. It's the audacity for me personally, guys, and it makes all the sense in the world that she is, in her professional capacity, let's say, someone working in the creative direction of things. I can imagine how her bias is influencing exactly what is being created with whatever entity this is here, guys.
But also, she's also an Italian-American citizen, and I don't dual national. I don't think she voted for Maloney. Just me.
well, yeah, she's what we were talking about previously, that awful phenomenon, affluent, white, female, liberal, as they call
Urban
them,
liberal.
lefty. And she was literally felt entitled to chase that poor boy on the platform, try to physically take that hat off him.
Right.
And, yeah, that piece of instant karma was delicious. But, yeah, she works for brands like Tiffany's, so very high-end, very affluent.
Tiffany's New York.
But a point you made there about Afghanistan, which shocks me that the media still after this did not try to hold the Biden administration accountable. Because remember, they had an airstrike in the aftermath of that to supposedly kill those who were responsible. And they killed a aid worker and his young family. There was, I think, 6 or 7 young children who were murdered wrongly.
Whoa, buddy.
And they acknowledged they got it wrong. And yet,
This is a mighty pivot.
Nobody lost their job. Nobody. This is a picture of some of the children who were killed in that airstrike. And to this day, no one has lost their job other than possibly President Biden after...
they're all upset about the signal chat.
They're all upset about the
forget
signal
about
chat. And,
Afghanistan.
look, the signal chat, was, incautious, and whoever added that Jeffrey Goldberg guy from The Atlantic really should, be cashiered, because that is absolutely inexcusable. Because here's the thing, the Trump administration is about bringing America back to responsibility and people taking responsibility for their mistakes. So there needs to be some accountability on that, but it's not a hanging offense for the whole administration.
You're trying to pass the blame, though. Guys, keep this in mind here. You definitely should not have used Signal in the first place. I'm sure that someone internally could create something that is exclusively, let's say, for the use of White House employees, that are maybe something not as, popular, let's say. Things like this can happen if the average person can do it. Let's say, not average, but the average person in the know can do it. I'm pretty sure the U.S. government can create something that can be exclusively encrypted. And for the use of the government only type of thing, guys. All right. I think that would probably be a lot smarter, and let's not pass the blame around, guys. It should not have been sent out through the group chat in the first place, guys.
Put that aside. Remember, though, like the history of this, when America, was the great nation that Donald Trump wants to get it back to, after Pearl Harbor, President Franklin Roosevelt fired the general who was in charge of the Pacific, said, this happened on your watch, you're out. What happens after Afghanistan? Well, everybody rallies around, Mark Milley and everybody else and the Pentagon and says, oh, look, all of these, people who are all doing all the diversity stuff in Washington, that hasn't distracted them from their main mission. But of course, it clearly has. And there's been no accountability. This is what the Trump administration needs to do. It needs to bring back responsibility for these things.
And they can start by firing that Steve Witkoff bloke. He seems to be a complete joke. But anyway, that's a different story. I want to talk about the Middle East briefly, Rita. We've seen these demonstrations in Gaza from some very brave individuals who are protesting, Gazans protesting against Hamas. The media...
Guys, we're going to go ahead and watch for another minute or two. It seems like we got, off the topic really fast for some reason.
It doesn't fit the media narrative, so the media is barely touching it. We're not seeing the demonstrations on the streets of Sydney or the Opera House supporting these characters against Hamas, which is what we should be doing, and our politicians should be encouraging this. Because what's going to happen? Only one of two things. Either Hamas is going to wipe these characters out, or, as I passionately hope, Hamas is on the point of being wiped out and is now so weakened that people in the Gaza Strip feel emboldened to turn against them. But what we don't want to see is a situation where Hamas remains in power and we end up with so-called elections and Hamas rewins. So that's got to be avoided at all costs. The West needs to be getting behind these people if it's legitimate and encouraging any kind of dissent against Hamas.
Okay. All right, we're completely off the rails now in terms of the subject matter here. But I guess to this last guy's point here, I'm kind of in the camp of this here. I always want to know what's going on with the little guy. Okay, it's really important to be honest. I need to know what's happening with them, and all of this here. But I want to go ahead and point out something in terms of the little guy in this context here, and for some of the people who are basically backing a horse, let's say a specific horse. I think it's very important that never back a group that you yourself would probably never be accepted within. I'm just gonna be. That's my opinion here. I want to know the story of the little guy. I want to have conversations with the little guy, with and about the little guy. Absolutely. And the big bad overlords. Let's say overlord. I want to have the conversation. Let's have the whole conversation. Sure. But in this context, it's very important that you don't back the horse that would never respect the way you're living. Okay, I just want you to know thoroughly, because a lot of the people who are out here protesting specifically in these contexts, guys, a lot of you wouldn't make it a day out there. All right, a lot of them, specifically the ones who are protesting, just know. You probably wouldn't make it a day for some of you. But either way, listen, guys, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly.